Hello everyone, I'm Megha Kulkarni. Here I am presenting chapter 4 of cloud computing, that is data intensive computing. To begin with, let us understand what does data intensive computing actually means. So data intensive computing, it is a class of parallel computing which uses data parallelism in order to process large volumes of data. So it is mainly concerned with production, manipulation, and analysis of large-scale data in the range of hundreds of megabytes to petabytes and even beyond. So this large amount of data that is generated each day by day, it is and is referred to as a big data. So when we think about big data, we usually think about data sets. So data sets are used, it is a common word that is used to identify collection of information elements that is relevant to one or more applications. So the data sets are often maintained in repositories, which are infrastructure supporting the storage, retrieval, and indexing of large amount of information. To facilitate the classification and research, relevant bits of information called metadata, they are attached to datasets. So data-intensive computations occur in many application domains, which include marketing analytics, image processing, machine learning, and web crawling. One example considered in our textbook is computational science. So it is one of the most popular application of data-intensive computing. So the scientists who are interested in conducting simulations and experiments, they're often keen to produce, analyze, and process huge volumes of data. So example for this is telescope. So hundreds of gigabytes of data are produced every second by telescopes mapping the sky. So the collection of images of the sky easily reaches the scale of petabytes over a year. Even earthquake simulators, they process massive amount of data, which is produced as a result of recording the vibrations of the earth across the entire globe. Apart from scientific computations, several IT industry sectors also require support for data-intensive computations. So one example is IT giant such as Google, which is reported to process about 24 petabytes of information per day and to sort petabytes of data in hours. So social networking and gaming are two other sectors in which data-intensive computing is now a reality. So Facebook inbox search operations involve crawling about 150 terabytes of data, and the whole uncompressed data stored by the distributed infrastructure reach to 36 petabytes. Another social gaming platform called as Zanga, it moves 1 petabyte of data daily, and it has been reported to add 1,000 servers every week to store the data generated by the games like Farmville and Frontierville. Now we characterize the data-intensive computations. So data-intensive applications will not only deal with large amount of data, but they are also exhibiting compute-intensive properties. So this figure, that is the data-intensive research issues, identifies the domain of data-intensive computing in the other two upper quadrants of the graph. So data-intensive applications, they handle data sets on the scale of multiple terabytes and petabytes. So these are commonly persisted in several formats and distributed across different locations. Such applications process the data in multi-step analytical pipelines, including transformation and fusion stages. So the processing requires almost linearly with the data size, and they can be easily processed in parallel. So they also need efficient mechanisms for data management, filtering, and fusion, and efficient querying and distributions. Even though it has all these characteristics, there are also challenges ahead of data-intensive computing. So huge amount of data that is produced, analyzed, or stored imposes requirements on supporting infrastructures and middleways that are hardly found in the traditional solutions for distributed computing. So for example, the location of the data is crucial as the need for moving large volumes of data in terms of terabytes becomes an obstacle for high-performing computations. Data partitioning as well as content replication and scalable algorithms help in improving the performance of data-intensive applications. So here are some of the open challenges in data intensive computing given by Ian Gordron, and that is, first is scalable algorithms that can search and process massive data sets. So we require some algorithms that are scalable, which are able to search and process huge data sets that are stored in the repositories. So new metadata management technologies that can scale to handle complex, heterogeneous, and distributed data resources. So advances in high performance computing platforms aimed at providing a better support for accessing in-memory multi-terabyte data structures. So we need advances in high performing platforms, computing platforms that will be aiming at providing a better support at accessing the multi-terabyte data structures. Next is high performance, highly reliable, petascale distributed file systems. Data signature generation techniques for data reduction and rapid processing. New approaches to software mobility for delivering the algorithms that are able to move the computation to where the data are located. Specialized hybrid interconnection architectures that provide better support for filtering the multi-gigabyte data streams that come from high-speed networks and scientific instruments. Flexible and high-performance software integration techniques that facilitate the combination of software modules running on different platforms to quickly form analytical pipelines. Thank you.